Mitchell using the screen. Clark evades. 3 seconds. Clark, the spin and the lay. Looking healthy on that finish.
1. Caitlin Clark needed no warm-up to remind everyone how much attention this league gets when she is on the court. Saturday afternoon at Gainbridge Fieldhouse felt huge, with the Indiana Fever facing the Dallas Wings on ABC in front of a packed house. What followed was historic from start to finish. It was the first WNBA season opener ever with both teams scoring more than 100 points. It also featured the last 4 #1 overall draft picks sharing the floor at the same time. Right in the center of it all was a milestone people will remember for a long time. Clark became the quickest point guard in WNBA history to reach 1,000 points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists. She got there in 54 games, beating Diana Taurasi's old mark of 62. But the full story matters even more when you look at what she was playing through. Clark left the court twice with what ABC described as hip flexor and groin issues, the same problem area that cost her 31 games last year and kept her out for the full postseason. Each time she headed toward the tunnel, the whole arena went quiet. Each time she returned. In 30 minutes, she scored 20 points, handed out 7 assists, and set one of the biggest records the league has seen, all while clearly not feeling fully right. Coach Stephanie White later played it down and said Clark only went back to get her back adjusted. Still, for fans who have seen her deal with one injury after another over the last 2 years, those moments were tough to watch. Dallas came in ready to make its own message loud and clear. First-year head coach Jose Fernandez, after 25 years at South Florida, brought a team built to run, fire from deep, and pressure defenses all game. Paige Beckers entered after winning the 2025 Rookie of the Year award. Aun Bawali was dangerous as always. And Fudd, the top pick in the 2026 draft, made her regular season debut. 4 recent #1 picks on one court was a perfect way to open the WNBA's 30th season. Indiana struck first before Dallas even got a touch, with Kelsey Mitchell hitting a pull-up jumper on the opening trip and getting the crowd rolling right away. Beckers answered with a long 3, and the tone was set immediately. 2 elite guards, both aggressive, both refusing to back down. Clark settled in fast with a layup off a Boston pass and then 2 free throws after drawing contact. The teams traded scores almost every trip, with neither side able to pull away by more than a bucket or 2. It was exactly what a season opener should be: fast, physical, and hard to stop watching. Mitchell carried Indiana early and looked impossible to defend. Reverse finishes, finger rolls, drives to the rim, she got whatever she wanted in those first minutes. She scored 10 of Indiana's first 14 points and kept the Fever rolling. Dallas stayed calm and answered each push. Beckers knocked down a jumper, Seagrees hit from 3, Shepard finished a layup and added the foul shot, and the Wings closed the first quarter up 27-25. Just 2 points separated them, and the game already felt wild before the first half was even halfway done. The second quarter belonged to Dallas. A 12-3 run pushed the lead to 9, and Indiana had no response. WNBA kept firing from the outside. Beckers kept breaking down the defense and finding the right play every time. Dallas made 10 of its first 16 shots from 3 in the first half, a ridiculous stretch of shooting, and went into halftime leading 60-51 with full control. Then Indiana came out after the break looking completely different. On the first possession of the third, Clark stepped back from 26 feet and drilled a 3 before Dallas could get set. Suddenly the gap was down to 6, and the building came alive. From there Clark took over in a way nobody watching will forget soon. She hit another 3 off a Boston assist, then buried one from 29 feet, finished a reverse layup through traffic, and found Boston cutting for easy buckets. She either scored or created 12 of Indiana's first 16 points in the third, dragging the Fever back into a game that looked like it was getting away. Down 9 at halftime, down only 3 a few minutes later, Indiana had all the energy again. Then came the historic play. Clark spun through defenders, flipped in a finger roll, and made the bucket while setting the record. In 54 games, she became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 points, 250 rebounds, and 250 assists, passing Diana Taurasi, one of the greatest ever, who had done it in 62. Hall of Famer Tama Catchings, who reached 1,000 points in her own 54th game with this same franchise, was there to see it. The crowd stood and cheered, the broadcast paused to recognize the moment, and Clark took it in for a second before going right back to work. Dallas never lost its composure and kept meeting every Indiana run. Beckers was outstanding late in the third, finishing with 20 points on 8 of 10 shooting and showing again why the league wanted her so badly. By the end of the quarter, the score was even at 80-80, and everything came down to the fourth. Dallas grabbed the first push in the final period and moved ahead by 5 after an Wallalai 3, making it feel like the Wings might finally create enough space. Then Clark sparked the whole building by calling out James for flopping. James drew a personal foul that Clark clearly hated, and Clark let her know it face to face, pointing and making sure everyone in the arena understood what she thought happened. The crowd exploded, the mood shifted, and Indiana fed off it. That is part of what makes Clark so watchable. Even between the actual basketball plays, she changes the temperature of the game. Mitchell kept Indiana close with a hard drive and in one to cut it to 2, then a step-back 3 that made it a one-possession game. The arena was shaking, and the Fever were right there chasing one of the best comebacks of the early season. Boston then ripped the ball from Beckers, took it coast to coast, and finished to put Indiana ahead 101-100. For a brief second, it truly felt like the Fever were about to steal it. But Dallas answered. Alana Smith scored on a layup. Sims made a free throw. And even with Indiana pushing in the closing seconds, Clark firing a 31-footer after Beckers flew past her and Mitchell launching from half-court at the buzzer, the Wings escaped. Final score, Dallas Wings 107, Indiana Fever 104. Mitchell ended with 30 points, a night that would have been the main story almost anywhere else. Boston added 23 points, 9 rebounds and 3 steals, and gave Indiana one of its steadiest all-around performances. Clark finished with 20 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds in 30 minutes, even after leaving the floor twice, breaking Diana Taurasi's record, calling out a flop in the fourth, and taking a deep shot at the end in an effort to win it. That is exactly who she is. For Dallas, Aun Bovali scored 22. Sims gave them 20 off the bench against her former team, and Beckers put up 20 on 8 of 10 shooting in a performance that backed up all the praise she has received since draft night. The Wings hit 12 of 23 from 3 and were just too strong from the outside. Indiana may have lost the opener, but nobody leaving Gainbridge Fieldhouse looked at this team like it was far away. The offense showed up, the depth showed up, the star talent showed up. Defense is the main thing that needs work, and that usually improves as the season settles in and the group spends more time together. Clark broke Diana Taurasi's record in 54 games while twice going back to the locker room with the results still hanging in the balance. If this was only game 1, the rest of the season could be something special. Indiana now heads to Los Angeles to play the Sparks on May 13th. That is all for this one. Thanks for being here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and share. We will see you in the next one.